My basic motivation for being a libertarian had never been economic but moral. While I was convinced that a free market was more efficient and would bring about a far more prosperous world than statism, my major concern was moral. The insight that coercion and aggression of one man over another was criminal and iniquitous and must be combated and abolished. Welcome to Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone. Today we are speaking with the Libertarian presidential candidate, Dr. Joe Jorgensen. Dr. Jorgensen, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me be here.
What is libertarianism?
Well, it's basically live and let live, that we allow people to make their own choices, and in return, we get to make our choices. And we don't give the power to the bureaucrats in Washington.
And why do libertarians criticize government so much instead of companies or social clubs or other organizations?
Well, because companies and social clubs are voluntary. If you don't like what a social club is doing, just don't join it. If you don't like what a corporation is doing, just don't buy from them. Don't pay for their services. And I've seen many people who will say, oh my gosh, I would never go with UPS, only FedEx. I would only go with FedEx, never UPS. But with the government, you have no choice. So right now, Americans don't have a choice in educating their kids because we've got a National Department of Education that is setting the standards for everyone. We don't have a choice in healthcare because government is taking that away with licensing. There are many choices we don't have. So the government basically takes our money and makes our choices for us, and we don't get to choose what we want.
So Spike, what is libertarianism?
Wow. So my elevator pitch that I give on it, when someone says, what do libertarians believe? I say it's pretty simple. We believe that you own yourself, you own your life, you own your body, you own your labor, and you own the product of your labor, which is your property. And you exclusively enjoy the right to use those things and enjoy them as you see fit. You can give them away, you can sell them, you can share them, you can lend them, you can keep them for yourself, you can do what you want because they're yours. You inherently own them. And if anyone tries to take that from you, or if you try to take any of those things from anyone else without their consent, then you're committing an aggression. And libertarians believe that not only is aggression bad from a moral standpoint, that you shouldn't you shouldn't harm people, you shouldn't hurt people, you shouldn't try to take from them, you shouldn't try to defraud them and so forth, but it also doesn't work. If I can take from you, Keith, and everyone else that's watching and listening, whenever I see fit, I'm not going to be a very, very good steward of what I have, and I'm not going to make very good decisions with what I have. And you aren't going to be as good of a steward or make as good of a decision with what you have because you know I can come and take it from you at any time. And what are the bad policies of the Republicans and the Democrats? They're bad big government statist policies, but a system whereby they've presumed the authority to take from us whenever they see fit. That's why it leads to harmful, inequitable, and abusive outcomes. We as libertarians believe that far better outcomes come from allowing people to voluntarily interact with one another in what we call the spontaneous nature of human action in a market set free, which is really just a people set free.
Now, out of all the groups in society, out of corporations, charities, and everyone else, libertarians spend a lot of time focusing on government. What is it about government that makes it a unique institution worthy of all this criticism as opposed to Amazon or Walmart or the Catholic Church?
Lack of consent. So any of these other organizations, and unfortunately now we're in a situation where, the Amazons and the Walmarts have found that they can sort of cozy up to government and enforce themselves on us as well. But absent the coercive nature of government, the only way that anyone is able to get from you, which is what ultimately we're all interacting with each other for scarce resources. We're all trying to work with each other either through cooperation, competition, or coercion to try to get the things that we need or that we want. If we do it in cooperation or in competition, that's us interacting freely and with a level of consent behind it, which allows people to choose who they want to get things provided by, who they want to associate with, who they want to work with, who they want to not work with. And because there's that choice there, it puts us all in a situation where if we want to be chosen, we have to provide. We have to show that we have a level of value. Once you take out that consent, and once you move away from cooperation or competition and instead to coercion, where I am forcing you to do business with me, I am creating a situation in which you have no other choice but to do business with me or to do what I say or to give me what you have that I want. Now, not only is that wrong again from a moral standpoint, I'm now taking from you against your will, But now it's leading to bad outcomes because I don't have to give you a good service. I don't have to demonstrate value. All I have to demonstrate is that if you don't do what I say or give me what I want, I will use whatever level of force is necessary to make you do it. And that's the opposite of value. I am now stealing. I am now coercing. I am now threatening. I am now using harm. Government is an instrument of harm. And we as libertarians believe that if government is to exist, its only purpose should be, if you even think it should have a purpose, its only purpose should be using that level of force and coercion to protect and affirm and preserve our lives and rights and property. As soon as it starts telling us what to do outside of that, now it's going into a nature of forcing us into bad situations. And all of the problems we're facing with healthcare, with education, with COVID-19, with the police brutality, with the wars, all of that boils down to government forcing us into things and forcing things onto us and forcing us to pay for it. And that is the problem. That is why we focus on government.